And things have definitely changed over the last few minutes because you're booming in now, Trevor. Good morning to you and Jan, and good morning to everybody else. This is Gulf Harbour Radio, ZMH286, on a very lovely morning, actually. We've got rid of our rain we had yesterday. Well, it always rains on Sunday, I'm told here, or has been the last month, and indeed it did yesterday, just steady drizzle all day. But we had a glorious day on Saturday, and it looks like it's going to be one out of the box here today, although they do forecast the odd shower. At the moment it's 12 degrees, 2 knots from the north-northwest, 1010.9, but a bit further away, Rubicon, who left on Saturday, are reporting west-northwest at 10 to 15 knots, so there is wind out there, gusting to 25. They're up at 32, so they won't hear me, but 32 and 174, but they've got 100% overcast skies with squalls, 1.5 metre seas, and all is well, getting warmer. But I tell you what, there's been quite a few complaints come through on the Yip site about it not being all that tropical up there in the islands, so we'll have to see what David's got in the future for you. But the satellite picture looks quite neat, actually. It looks all of this cloud coming up from New Zealand looks like it's just a big ice cream. It all spreads out over you, so I'm sure there's not too much in the way of heat. There is a lot of heat in other parts of the world, though. I was talking to someone yesterday who deals with, or their daughter actually works on the southern coast of the UK at a kite surfing place, and they have had no business for about 3 weeks because not only has there been record high temperatures, as you've probably heard, through Europe and particularly the UK, there hasn't been any wind. So businesses that rely on wind, and certainly down the bottom coast there, they do normally have wind, and they haven't had anything. So it's just been one of those weirdo summers. Certainly very hot. I got it very hot when I was in Russia. But there's been record heat in Canada, America, Korea, Japan, certainly Portugal and Spain, although I haven't heard any complaints from the Aradonas. Heather and Carl are in their motorhome just in the northern part of Spain going into Portugal on and off, and they are thoroughly enjoying it because they have access to the water, of course. So, but yes, I'll just briefly go through the news before I see if there's anybody wanting anything. Back to looking at what's going on in the world. That wildfire in Shasta County in California is really, it's sort of morphed into all sorts of fires heading towards Lake Mendocino and Napa. Now there's 14,000 firefighters are on the job there. It's already killed 8 people, mostly in the Redding area. For those that don't know California, it's fairly well north, past Red Bluff on I-5, is it? Anyway, up there somewhere. And you'll be interested to know how it started. A guy driving a trailer, a wheel on the trailer burst, and the rim sent a spark when it hit the road. The rim of the wheel hit the road, sent a spark out, and that is what was the cause of this absolutely, totally incredible fire. So it doesn't take much, does it, when the land is really, really dry. So that's what's happening there. The one in Greece was self-started too. They think it was politically motivated, and that's caused horrible problems over in Greece. Anyway, from fires we go to hurricanes, and there is Hurricane Hector, which they're a little bit concerned about because it may get near Hawaii. And I must look at where Bright Angel is because they left Hawaii about 3 days ago, heading north, but it will be in the south, of course, and it is still a long way away. It's about 1,300 miles east at the moment. They maintain, if it keeps its track, that it will start getting at Hawaii in the first part of it anyway, Sunday, Monday time frame. Kilauea, by the way, is still erupting. A lot of disturbance around the world actually. Yesterday there was another major earthquake in Bali and Lombok. Remember they had one last week. 37 died in the Lombok one yesterday. It was a really, really major one and not too good at all. It doesn't give any details of who died, but there will be tourists as well as locals in anything that hits Bali and Lombok. Actually, if you have Colgate toothpaste, the carrageenan comes from Lombok, or the seaweed that they make the carrageenan from comes from Lombok. You could put that in, you don't need to remember this file in your brain, but I just thought that was of interest. Anyway, alright, the dollar, the New Zealand dollar is pretty weak at the moment. So those of you that don't have New Zealand dollars will do well. If you convert to New Zealand dollars, $1 US is now worth $1.48 New Zealand, which is good for you folks that might be coming to New Zealand to do work at the end of the year. And looking at it the other way, $1 New Zealand is worth only 0.67 US dollars. If anybody else wants other currencies, let me know. Alright, well let's just see if there's anybody out there. I think conditions have improved a bit now before we get on to the weather at half hour. Anybody out there with anything for Gulf Harbour Radio, please call. Nothing heard. Whitehawk seemed to be going well towards Suva. I wouldn't mind hearing from Margarita to know where you have ended up. So if Margarita is on frequency, if you could give me a call, please. I know you've left Niue, but don't know roughly where you are at the moment. And for those that know the Rubicons, they're on their way, doing quite well, heading north, getting warmer. Anybody else for Gulf Harbour Radio, please call. Gosh, maybe we are talking to ourselves. And I don't see anybody on streaming here either. So, Mr. Troy, I don't know if you've looked at things, but I had a look at our system and all seems to be well as far as streaming is concerned. It was on the internet, so not sure what's happening there. But if anyone could let me know on the chat box on streaming that it's going. Otherwise, I'll just assume that it is. Oh, it might be a good idea if I change the date too on the streaming, because otherwise it's going to go in as the 3rd. And as you know, we worked there on Saturday and Sunday. All right. Anybody else for Gulf Harbour Radio? Otherwise, I will give you a bit more news from those that are reporting in. Looks like everyone's having a pretty somnolent time at the moment, just sort of meandering around. People are looking at heading off probably towards the end of August for the next island group, but other than that, there just doesn't seem to be an awful lot going on. I see Serena of Orr is on their way. Eric and Dee are on their way from Oz, Brisbane to Noumea. They're pretty late starting too. But others that were in Australia have looked as if they've decided to stay put. And good morning to Warwick and Elaine on Fusio. Looks like you're still keeping fit on the old boards there. So anybody for Gulf Harbour Radio, please call. Any relays for Gulf Harbour? Yeah, it's a real bad day for propagation. I think I heard someone there, it might have even been you, Graham, down there in Kalanga, but I absolutely have no copy. I'll just give one more call for relay. Oh, good. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Crystal calling back. We'll go ahead with Wilmo. Good morning. This is Local Galaxy. Go ahead. No, okay, Roger. Just checking in. You send in the position report, over. south, 16926 west. No copy. Northwest. Alright, speed direction and weather conditions. Let's go to the west, we should see back, wind 15. 0%. Northwest. Anything else about power? No, that's it. I'll just put some air right before that.
This is new.
15 from the list.
Yep. Right.
Nothing
Oh, no copy.
Yeah, we were just looking at the wind. I presume he's heading to Vavau, so there's nothing evil ahead. He's actually coming through strong enough, but it's just a little bit hard for me to copy. What was the boat name? Over.
Melody?
Okay. Could you spell that? Because I'm still not getting it.
Papa Echo November. Echo Lima Oscar Papa Echo.
Oh, Penelope. Okay, got it now. Sorry, it's just the way you said. You are quite strong, so no problem with that. It's just the clarity is not so great. All right, so you're not going to have too much of a change by the look of the passage ahead, but David's going to cover that now, so we'll just listen up. But I have you, and thank you for the relay, Cleope. All right, well, we might as well get on to the weather now, so anybody that is on the move can have a look. I'll just give a call to Margarita to see where they are. Margarita, are you on frequency? No, nothing heard, so I'll pass the microphone. Here's David.
All right, good morning here, 6 August. Wow, moving on. Okay, we'll start with our usual glance at 500 millibar. And we've got two shortwave troughs that are over the dateline, pretty much over the dateline. They're not in phase, however, and that's good news. One has its axis over Tonga, and the other one over New Zealand. Now, in the Tasman, we've got a ridge up there at 500, nicely placed. That's supporting pretty much a weak high, we'll call it, just to the east of Brisbane. And there is another 500 shortwave that's over southeastern Oz, and that's supporting a rather complex depression that's pretty much centered over Tasmania. Now, the shortwave over New Zealand, that's supporting a depression that's centered over Taranaki, or just to the northwest of Wellington, if you're not sure where that is located. And there are a series of fronts that extend northward, heading up this way, although you'd never know it now with the weather looking pretty decent at the moment. I think that'll change. Now, the other shortwave that's over Tonga has produced and does support a subtropical depression that's south of Niue. Now, this depression will intensify, and it will be quite well wrapped up by lunch tomorrow. And it will be centered near 27 and 17 to west. Don't worry about it. It's to the south of Niue. It's not going to directly affect Tonga, indirectly, but not directly. Now, it hangs in there right through Wednesday, and located on the northwest corner of a 1039 high. Now, that high is east of the Chathams. And, well, there you go, the good old northwest corner. Northwest corner again. By now, hopefully, everyone is going to be pretty wary of these strong highs, and that's exactly the location that normally something does happen in the form of a trough or a surface depression. That's the northwest corner. Well, in the meantime, our other high, that's in the northern Tasman, that remains in place right through Wednesday, quite weak. Probably about 1017 central pressure. So that's the general picture between New Zealand and the islands. Now up in the tropics, where most of you are, of course, those cool temperatures Patricia's talking about, Well, they're being experienced virtually in almost all of the island groups. And again, that's thanks to a southerly airflow. As Patricia said, you look at the clouds, actually strato Q, that it does exactly look like an ice cream cone, with New Zealand being the cone part and the ice cream spilling over is the islands. If you could picture that, that's exactly what it looks like. It's pretty chilly here in New Zealand as well. Well, we thought we'd send you a little reminder that it is winter time. This cool air runs north to about 10 south. Now, right up there, it collides with very warm, very moist air that's coming west from a high that's in the neighborhood of French Polynesia. Now, this collision is creating a quite active trough that runs from the Solomons, runs pretty much along 10 south to about 170 west. Then it arcs a bit to the southeast, and it's bringing troughing conditions to Polynesia and beyond. So quite active. Now, looking a little bit closer at the islands, starting with Tonga, we can expect a fair amount of cloudiness from this business. That's pushing, again, up from the south. So if you were to lay on your back and look up, you'll see the direction these clouds are going. And there'll be a chance of scattered showers throughout the group today. Reports very early this morning have about cloudy, pretty calm up there at the moment, and rather cool at 21°C with the barometer 1009er. The Hapai's partly cloudy there, southwest 8, southwest. Temperature 20°C, and the barometer 1008. And Tongatapu is cloudy, southwest 13, pretty chilly there, 18°C, and the barometer 1009. So not too much of a pressure differential, but there is wind. By lunch, expect them to be out of the southwest for much of the chain, 15 to 20 for Vavau, and for the Hapai's, I would say in the 20 knot range, and this will be much the same on Tuesday. And for Tongatapu, a little bit stronger down there in Tongatapu, and they are getting the effects of that depression that's to the south. So they're getting a little bit more cloud and a little bit more wind from that. Moving over to Fiji, there's plenty of cloud there, moving in from the south as well. There's going to be breaks, of course, but pretty good chance for scattered showers here and about in that group. The temperatures are also quite cool, and again, thanks to the south to southeast winds. And I would expect 15 to 20 in most of the open waters. Radar this morning is picking up showers in the western Koro Sea and on the southern coast of Viti Levu, and a few sprinkles are popping up for the Kendavu area. So that's Fiji, and then call in if you need more detail. Over to Vanuatu, imagery shows partly cloudy there, and again the clouds are coming in from the south. The winds by lunch, southeast 15 to 20 from Anisham up to Erromango. Further north, I think we'll see a wind favoring the 20 knot mark, a little bit stronger. Expect scattered showers from Tanna to Port Vila. And oh boy, the low temperatures in Tanna this morning, 14, that's 14 degrees C. And that is exactly why the people there always ask for blankets. At least they did for us. And you can see why. It always seems to get chilly there in Tanna. Now, these fresh winds are going to bring rough seas up and down. So you're looking at 2 meters at least in the open waters for Vanuatu. Now, Nukau is the sunniest island group that we've got today. Imagery is showing just a few clouds there. So expect mostly sunny conditions. The wind southeast around 10. Light air again tomorrow. Still out of the southeast, give or take. And again around 10 knots. Looks good, very good to explore the lagoon there in New Caledonia.
Samoa looks all right.
So, what's that?
Samoa looks all right too.
Samoa? Yeah, they're at the bottom. Samoa is at the bottom end of that fairly active trough. They're getting a few clouds from it, but at the moment, the trough is well above, the main part of the trough is well above somehow. So that's it for me. Any questions, comments, whatever, come now. Here's the chief.
Okay, nothing much heard or no urgent requests coming through. And good morning to James and Chantal on cue. They're back here. A lot of people have come to the islands late this year, I guess, because the summer in Europe was so good, and in America. And there's been even a few leaving New Zealand quite late this year. So I wonder what will happen at the end of the year. Anyway, this is Gold Harbour Radio. Is there anything else? Otherwise, we will go back to the reading the paper, such as it is.
Gold Harbour, why?
Oh, good morning, wife. Forgot about you. I should have made a note. And you're booming in. How's the trip going?
I haven't left yet, Patricia. We're just going to clear this morning about, I say 9 o'clock, so we'll get away by then. Beautiful day up here, probably 80% cloud, no wind, and beautiful morning.
Well, that's what you could do with all the way with your boat, and I can assure you that it's absolutely glorious here, but I'm not sure if you've called in before, but I had a report from Rubicon, who are at 32, 12 and 17435, and they've got 100% overcast with 1.5 metre seas. The wind for them is west-northwest 10 to 15, gusting to 25, and David is just having a look out for you. You've probably got it all yourself there anyway, but anything you want to add, David?
I'm looking.
He's looking. So how many on board? Over?
We just 3 POV, Patricia, and the forecast looking pretty good, so we'll make a track today, and we will give you a call tomorrow morning.
Alrighty, you're on the list for tomorrow morning. So did you want to make any comment? He'll make a quick comment. He always wants to make a quick comment.
Yeah, quick comment. No, your analysis is quite right. The winds are going to be fairly favorable. Now, there are some broken up frontal bands that you'll encounter. Those are the ones that are heading up because of that depression further to our south here. And as they get up towards 30 south, they start to break up. So in the process of breaking up, though, you could expect a squall or two. But generally, southerly quadrant winds all the way up for most of the week. So it looks pretty good. Enjoy it. Over.
Yeah, thanks, David. Will do, mate. Give you a call tomorrow.
Okay, cheers. Clear with Y. Anybody else? Well, there is somebody there, but I missed what the boat name. Oh, was it Penelope? Because it's not all that clear. Was that Penelope, over? Okay, go ahead. I've got your position here. What's your ETA, and are you indeed going to Tonga, over? Oh, goodness gracious me, back to our old stamping ground. So you're heading to San Francisco. We should have taken your course and speed. You better give me your course and speed at the moment, over. Okay, so 090 true and 5 knots. All right, so Penelope, goodness. You wouldn't happen to be a Hans Christian 38, would you, over? I missed that. Homemade vessel, but anyway, we did know a Penelope that was, we started with a Hans Christian from San Francisco. So, all right, well, we'll see how far we can follow you. Did you want to make any comments at the moment? No, you'll be just trucking along for a while. So we'll give you a call again in the morning as well. Is that okay, over? There's something about Niue. Your radio is not all that crystal clear, and you're talking about the depression south of Niue. I'll pass the microphone back again, and David can have a look, because you're currently, and this is for him, 1834 and 16926 west. Stand by.
At 1/8, okay. You're leaving to go to San Francisco. You left from the islands, is that correct then? Not from down here in New Zealand at the moment. So you're leaving from somewhere up
He's
there in
left,
the islands.
honey. He's on his
He's
way.
left. So yeah, that depression is to your south, and it's going to stay to your south based on your course, from what I could see. The winds, looking right through Thursday at around 18, are going to still be southerly. Now there is a frontal band that's going to go through, and it depends on how far east that you happen to get. The frontal band, as an example, looking at midnight tomorrow, is going to intersect 20 at the 160 west longitude. So that's the pretty much the center of that frontal band. So you should be behind it, and you may very well get some cloud and some squally conditions from that. But that band, which then becomes part of a trough system, that's what I talked about early in my report, that's going to stay in place right through most of the week. But I think it's moving probably a little bit faster than maybe you are. But your winds right through Saturday, actually, around that 18-20 mark, are still southerly. So you're pretty lucky. Over.
Yeah, we are struggling. You've got a strong signal, but it fades, and then we miss it. You can ask the question again, but I'd like to know your name and how many on board. Over. Well, you're going to have to do that again. I think you said Leo, but then I got a different spelling. And did you say one person on board? You're single-handing, over? Okay, Leo. Well, if hopefully I've got the name right. Correct me if I'm wrong. So you're single-handing, so we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on what's ahead for you. Here's David again.
Relay, Patricia, the paper's name is Dale Silver Alpha Lima Echo.
Oh, thank you for that, Trevor.
Thanks, Trevor. All right, Dale, you're going to get some easterlies at some point in time, and it looks like that's going to happen on Monday, virtually a week from now. Now, lots can change, but that's looking very long range, fairly light easterlies along around the French Polynesia area. They'll start becoming easterly around 160 west, maybe 158 west. All right, now are you going to be stopping in, say, Bora Bora or whatever on this trip? Over.
He's going straight through.
You're going straight through, are you? Okay. Well, all right. Okay, any questions? We'll try to follow you. Make sure you get as east as you can before you cross that date line. Over.
Okay, it'll be interesting to follow Penelope across back to our old home stamping grounds there. All right, and thanks to Trevor. Yeah, Trevor, you didn't mean the date line, you meant the equator. Yes, I'm sure he understood that you meant the equator. You're not meant to be suffering from jet lag. It's me that's been suffering from jet lag. It's catching. All right. Trevor, was this signal clear with you? Because it was sort of a little bit hard to follow here. Over. Yeah, so it's quite strong. It's just it was getting a little bit distorted. All right, it's just conditions. All right, well that looks as if it's it for the day. We've got a few people going in different directions, up from Oz, up from New Zealand, across from the islands. So plenty to keep us all interested in the next few days. Enjoy your day up there, folks. I'm sure it will warm up, and I hope ours warms up. I doubt that it's going to warm up too much, and we'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place. Cheers, everybody. Have a good day. This is Gold Harbour Radio Clear, and the frequency's all yours.
Hello, me.